turn a chair to a throne. I'm a king and it's why I start hard. I put my whole city on.
You are now tuned into First Round by.
If I did start hard. And every night is a premiere. If I ever disappear, best believe I'm coming back. Start hard.
With your hosts, Justice General Radford, host of the Justice for All podcast, Jake Jordan, host of The Lowdown with Jake Jordan.
What's up, Bills Mafia? You are watching First Round by. We are your hosts with the most. I'm Justice General Radford. That's my man Jake Jordan. We're your favorite Friday night guys on your favorite Friday. I messed it up. It's okay. Whatever. I'm back to I'm back to Premium Justice. This is when I perform best. Is when I mess up the intro. Okay?
And the camera went fuzzy. Oh man.
Yeah, it's all bad. Yeah. All right, but that means we're gonna have a good show because it's a bad start. That's what we here. What's going on, everybody? We have a ton of stuff for you tonight. But first of all, how are you doing, Jake Jordan? What's going on tonight, bro?
Doing good. It's Friday night, dude. I mean, like pretty much like everybody right now is probably like, oh, thank God the weekend is here. And of course, we get to talk about football. We're gonna take a step inside of the classroom of Jake Jordan here soon, where we're going to be talking about our lesson for today, but definitely a lot of stuff on the table tonight here for First Round by, and I can't wait. And of course, Spin wants us to go till 3 a.m.
Spin your back, bro. So now we actually can do it.
Yeah, we were waiting for you, Spin. What are you talking about?
For you. Exactly. So we'll get that to you. But well, we won't get into that. Oh, Jake cut out. Right, we won't get into that.
I'm all good. I'm just reconnecting my camera.
Got it. All right, so first, before we talk about how the Browns are all douchebags, we're going to talk about the Bills, training camp, preseason, some of the stuff that we've seen. They just took on, who did they play last week? Was that the Panthers? It wasn't the Panthers.
No, we played the I can't believe I've already forgotten about this. I didn't care really all that much.
Yeah. Oh, same. Oh, it was the Colts.
The Colts. All right, yeah, of course. The Colts.
Because Kyer Elam locked up Alec Pierce. That was nice. That was nice. So now we do remember who we were actually playing. Was there anybody who shocked you, good or bad, in that game?
In that game, I was actually surprised by both of our corners. I know you really want to rave on Christian Benford, and I'll let you do the majority of that. But I'm going to tell you right now, we had basically the Colts were running their first team offense and first team defense against the Bills backups. And the fact that I'm pretty sure we held them to three points in what was it, the first half?
I think it was the first half, yep.
Yeah, like that was absolutely crazy just to see our backup defensive line as well, seeing Boogie Basham shed some weight. He's looking real good out there. Saw Tim Settle look like an absolute monster on a couple of reps. He bullied that amazing guard, that Quentin Nelson for the Colts. I was very surprised that our backup defense was doing that to a Colts team that everybody's kind of got feeling like, okay, well, that team's going to lock down their division. It's kind of like, all right, if that's what our second team's doing against them, because, yeah, it's early. Their team's not clicking. They don't have Jonathan Taylor, whatever. That's pretty much it. Everybody else out there was first team, and that Bills defense, they absolutely showed out.
Yeah, they look phenomenal. Oh, man. And I could sit here and talk all day about how amazing Christian Benford, 6th-round pick out of Villanova, was, because I called it. I said he was going to be amazing, and he's playing amazingly. So, I can talk all day about it, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to talk about is, do we need a backup quarterback? Because Case Keenum didn't look good. Case Keenum looked awful. I mean, like bad. I mean, like it's
Mhm.
the preseason, and I know this is your first time, really, like outside of joint practices. I don't know if those had any joint practices, but outside of that, this is probably your first time seeing other, defenses outside of your own. And you
Mhm.
have to face the best defense in the world every day in practice. You would think that
Sure.
you'd be ready for other defenses. And he was not. It was second team offense around him, but
Mhm.
like his decision making, his passing just wasn't there. It wasn't about the non-blocking because
Mhm.
there could have been better blocking, but his ability, what he put on tape was just not good. And of course,
Yeah.
Matt Barkley came and it was balling out, and we were like, it's the third strings, whatever. But I mean, there's no reason Matt Barkley should be looking better than Case Keenum in any capacity.
No, I mean, it was pretty much the Bills had to actually give up a draft pick and trade for Case Keenum. I think Keenum is fine. I feel like either of the guys that we really have out there, we can talk about Matt Barkley balling out, but he's balling out against the third stringers at that point. So it's kind of like any guy that we have behind Josh is not really going to, obviously take they're not going to look like Josh. They're not going to be like there there we go. But no, Keenum didn't put anything really good out on the tape at all. There were a couple miscommunications, they result in turnovers, that kind of like it just wasn't a good game for them. But I think like overall Case Keenum is still going to be the quarterback 2 for the Bills this year just because of kind of his pedigree and what he's shown in the league and kind of what he has. He's kind of the new guy around here. Like Spin said, Barkley has a head start. He is kind of familiar with the offensive system, so he kind of knows what's going down. Case Keenum had a couple of nice throws to Khalil Shakir too. Let's not like forget about that. Like there was still some good in there to where I think that Case Keenum is still going to be worth what we gave up for him. He just didn't have the best day that day.
I certainly hope so. And I will. I'm not, omnipotent or anything. I'm not omniscient. I will admit, especially last year, I was looking at it and I was like, yo, Davis Webb is better than Mr. Trubisky. I was saying that because I
Yeah,
was
I
watching the
know.
practices and Davis Webb was playing better than Mr. Trubisky. It was like, what's
Hmm.
happening right now? It very well could be that as far as the backup is in the system because Davis Webb has been in the Bills system. Matt Barkley has been in the Bills system,
Hmm.
and Mr. Trubisky, that was his first year, and in case Keenum, this is his first year. I think that goes to show why these guys aren't starters, though.
Yeah,
You
and we
know,
were
just
we were spoiled last year too to have Mitchell Trubisky as a backup quarterback. Where I believe that he could have gone to a couple of teams last year and been a starter, and we had the luxury of having him as just a backup. To where I think he's still going to win the role with the Steelers. I think he's going to be their starter week 1. They might have already said that he's going to be their starter. I'm not sure yet, but I think that we're kind of spoiled in that, and now we're kind of back to where it's like, all right, who are the guys behind Josh? Oh, okay, it's Matt Barkley and Case Keenum, who, again, I actually saw a thing that was like 4 years ago. Here were the last 4 quarterbacks that were left in the playoffs, and it was Case Keenum, Nick Foles, Tom Brady, and Blake Bortles. And I was like, oh my
disgusting.
God. That
Yeah,
was,
disgusting.
but then I was just remembering like Case Keenum is a guy who has stepped up in roles even last year with Cleveland and a couple of times where, you know, yeah, he can win games. He can still win you games. So I think that he just needs to get used to it a little bit, but I think he's
Yeah,
going to be fine. And
I don't really know what the situation was with Case Keenum when they took the Vikings. That was a very bizarre year, like Viking. Because I was sitting up here
Mm.
like I was blushing over it. I was like,
Yeah.
he took them to the NFC Championship, and then I saw Week 1, and I was like, I have no confidence in this man at all. But
Mm.
to be fair, there was another quarterback who played in Week 1 of the preseason who was supposed to be a superstar. And that boy looked like hot garbage. Of course, this is his first time playing in a year and a half, but he didn't look good at all. Like he overthrew everybody. Their whole offense just looked like a big, like, this is what you get type of thing. And of course, I'm talking about Deshaun Watson and the Browns. I don't know if you saw that preseason game, but Buddy did not look comfortable. He didn't really, I mean, he looked out of his element. Of course, again, he hadn't played in a year and a half, but at the same time, it just didn't look like what you were giving up to get him.
Yeah, and like Deshaun Watson, of course, you know, they gave up all that capital to get him. He hasn't played in a year and a half, and he's in a brand new system. So it's kind of like I didn't expect him to come in and be great right away, but I'm pretty sure Browns fans, or at least the ones that are still there, were. And he just kind of looked like a little bit deer in the headlights for that first situation. But I'm glad you brought up Deshaun Watson, Justice, because that's going to bring us into our lesson for today. Gather around, children. We have a lesson to go over. And today's lesson is why Deshaun Watson and the Browns organization are total scumbags. And I thought I'd put together this little PowerPoint presentation because obviously, if you don't know the situation right now, and if you're one of these people that, you know, for some reason really supports Deshaun Watson, you probably don't want to be here for this lesson. Maybe skip class for today. But this is kind of, you know, a touchy subject for some people, and for some people it's really, really personal. And I was really hoping that the NFL wasn't going to settle and they were really going to go for what they wanted to do, especially after looking over everything and saying that, well, his actions were predatory and egregious. And I was like, okay, well, with that, you got to assume that they're going to go hard on this. They're going to get that 1-year suspension from Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson comes out and he's like, no, I'm willing to go to the table. I'll go to 8 games. They suspended him for 6 already. So, Jason in the comment, it was a touchy subject. Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. But in all seriousness, with this situation comes, you know, a lot of people that feel like they have to stand behind their quarterback because they're standing behind their organization because they love the Browns. And I understand that, but you also really need to be able to read everything, right? So you can't just take everything at face value. You can't read a PR statement and just think, okay, well, that's that, you know, because sometimes you might think that a PR statement is being put out by a player, but it might not be. And our first thing that we're going to go over today is we're going to look at this statement that came from Deshaun Watson. Justice, if you wouldn't mind reading this for me.
Absolutely. All right. I'm grateful to the disciplinary process. I'm grateful that the disciplinary process has ended and extremely appreciative of the tremendous support I have received throughout my short time with the Browns organization. I apologize again for any pain this situation has caused. I take accountability for the decisions I made. My focus going forward is working on becoming the best version of myself on and off the field and supporting my teammates however possible while I'm away from the team. I'm excited about the future, what the future holds for me in Cleveland. Statement from Deshaun Watson.
So, Deshaun Watson coming out saying, I take full accountability for the decisions I've made. I apologize for anybody that was caused pain from this situation. And that, all right, let's, I'm ready to move forward. I'm going to get help. I'm going to go and find the best version of myself, and I'm going to come back a better man. But this reads as the most PR, hey, we're going to put this out saying that you said this statement of all time. Because Deshaun Watson, after this, for some reason, the Browns organization said, hey, all of this stuff just happened. The settlements happened. Let's go out and let's make statements publicly. Let's go out to the media. And Deshaun Watson, of course, gets asked about everything again. And this is what Deshaun Watson had to say. Keep in mind what you just read here. He apologizes for any of the pain that he caused, and he takes full accountability for the decisions he made, and he's going to work on the best version of himself.
And always said that I've never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand on that. But at the same time, I have to continue to push forward with my life and my career. And for us to be able to move forward, I have to be able to take steps and put pride to the side. And I'm going to continue to stand on my innocence and keep pushing forward. And I've always, stood on not disrespecting or sexual assaulting anyone.
Okay. Would anybody like to inform me what isn't adding up here?
What are you taking accountability for if you did nothing
exactly
wrong? If you stand on your innocence, what are you taking accountability for?
Exactly. You're taking accountability for the decisions you made and all the people that you have supposedly hurt. And then when you get asked about it in person, you say, well, I still didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. So
that's his problem.
Accountability for
that's the problem here. Excuse me. You can tell when somebody really doesn't care and they just want something to go away, right? Mm-hmm. Because then you start saying things like, I take accountability. Oh, I apologize for anybody hurt. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. I'm remorseful, right? And we've heard that word as well, remorseful. Right, you're saying all these things because you want to appease whoever. Like you're like, I don't know who I've hurt. I'm not going to sit here and own up to what I've done to hurt these people, but I want this to go away. So I don't really care about who I've hurt, but I'm going to say that I apologize for hurting these people. Because I want you guys to get off my back. So I want to go back to doing the things that I want to do. I want to go back to being a 26-year-old high-level football player. So I think that's really where it's connected. It's not authentic. It's not real.
Yeah, and I mean, you said it right there. I wasn't gonna bring up the word remorseful just yet, but we'll talk about it right now. The Browns put out another. It was a statement a couple of days ago talking about how Deshaun Watson is remorseful. And, the one thing that, and I know people are going to say no one knows with certainty that Watson has committed these immoral acts. Judge Sue Robinson did. And that is why she gave him 6 games. And that is why the NFL wanted more. And we're going to talk about right here. For someone who didn't do these things, we're going to put out the actual statement from the Shield itself. Here we go. Deshaun has committed to doing the hard work on himself that is necessary for his return to the NFL. Commissioner Roger Goodell stated, this settlement requires compliance with a professional evaluation and a treatment plan. A treatment plan for what? If he didn't do anything.
And he stands on his innocence. Why is the NFL making him go seek treatment? If he didn't do any of these things and nobody's certain he did these things, why does he have to go get a professional evaluation and get a treatment plan? I will continue. A significant fine and a more substantial suspension. We are grateful for Judge Robinson and Peter Harvey for their efforts in addressing these matters, which lay the foundation for reaching this conclusion. So yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people want to be like, well, he was never convicted, so he didn't really do these things. I'm going to say right here is that, one, if you read at the top of here, it actually tells you what the actual money will be going to. Fine will be combined with additional donations from NFL and Browns, resulting in $7 million to support the prevention of sexual misconduct and assault. Well, if Deshaun Watson didn't do any of these things, supposedly things that he did, why are they donating this money to the prevention of sexual misconduct and assault? And why are they making him go seek help?
if he didn't do these things, if there's not evidence that they found in their own investigations that said,
and how can you assure that he's sought help when he is telling the public that he didn't do anything? Mm-hmm. So what is this agreement you stood on when he's out here still protesting his innocence?
Exactly.
Or guilt.
It is completely two different situations here, right? It almost seems like Deshaun Watson didn't really talk to the NFL. The NFL's put out statements before saying that in their talking to Deshaun Watson, and the Browns have said in talking to Deshaun Watson, he was remorseful for the situation. What's he remorseful for? He just came out. I'll play it again.
On my innocence, and always said that I've never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand.
Okay, he never assaulted anybody. He's never disrespected anybody. What's he remorseful for? They want you to think he's remorseful. What about that face right there in that statement sounds remorseful? Nothing about it sounds remorseful. And if there was nothing really afoot, if they knew that nothing was going to come from this, why did the Browns specifically make his first year of his deal to where he would lose zero money if suspended, or not zero money, but basically no money in the whole grand scheme of all things? He got a signing bonus. NFL can't touch the signing bonus, Justice. They can't touch that. That's where the majority of his money in that first year went.
Yep.
So now he loses, what is it? It's like $600,000 something this year.
And here's my thing. I don't think the NFL should get away with their role in this either. Like, they are just as complicit, in my opinion, because first of all, let's not sit here and be dense, right? All this came out after he requested a trade from Texans, right?
Yes. He's
the Texans' golden boy, superstar quarterback. He is damn near unblemished. He's the one. He's the chosen one, right?
Yes.
And then he wants to leave Houston, and we all know billionaires are not, they're babies, they're crybabies, and I listen. I'm not look the same way we can connect the dots on Deshaun Watson. We can connect the dots on the owners and the powerful people in this situation, right?
Sure.
These things came out right after he wanted to leave Houston. So that tells me that they were suppressing this information at one point because he was their quarterback. So Houston should be punished. The NFL had to be complicit. Listen, I've heard NFL investigations are on par with FBI investigations. There's no reason this should be a thing, right? And another reason I say that the NFL is complicit, because you look at a situation like Ray Rice, they gave him 4 games initially until the video came out, and then they were like, right? But if there was a video that came out of Deshaun Watson doing something, now you have to suspend him indefinitely. You know why? Because you shouldn't be doing that stuff in the first place. So if there's a video that comes and it can ruin somebody's career and life as it did Ray Rice, but there's no video and you get a 6-game, a 4-game, an 11-game suspension, that means you're complicit. That means you're only giving this person a punishment because you like the information is public. That means the only reason it's still out to play in the league is because the video isn't public. That tells, to me, that says that the everybody is complicit. The Saints, the Falcons, all these teams that wanted Deshaun Watson. Wow, this whole situation. I think they complicit as well. They made the bidding war that allowed the Browns to do what they did to make this egregious thing happen where he, doesn't get a salary for the first year. He has to give up $5 million. Oh my God, $5 million out of 200 and something million guaranteed. Like, it's more than just the Browns here. It's more than just Deshaun Watson. Like, everybody needs to be checked for this.
So, I'm going to have to...
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say the NFL shouldn't have punished Ray Rice.
Disagree with you here, Spin. It's not the NFL's job to punish a person for their actions outside of its employment role. But it is the NFL's job to keep the face of the league, how they are perceived, their perception. It is their duty to, when they see something like this, when they see the president, they have to set a precedent. They just signed a new CBA. They have more power to basically go out here. This is a PR nightmare for the NFL. Yeah. And the precedent that they have set is, I'm not going to set 11 games. That's fine. I don't really care about that. I think the real problem is not doing anything about how the contract has been set up. It was obviously set up in a way that where they were trying to get around the system. The NFL, it's not their job. Obviously, they're not going to be the one. They can't say, hey, yeah, it was a civil court issue. It wasn't a crime. You weren't convicted. But it is still their job to set a precedent. And when they ban Calvin Ridley for a whole year.
No, it's not a whole year. It's indefinitely. We don't even know if he'll be able to play next season. That they haven't even given us a timeline of the suspension.
Because he put a parlay on his own team.
It's crazy.
Deshaun Watson has all of this, gets 11 games. Sure, we know they wanted to go indefinitely, possibly, and we're gonna continue to talk about this a little bit. I knew that there's some people that are like, hey, he wasn't really convicted of anything. I knew this was going to come up, and I know this one also as well. The victims have been compensated. Justice is served. No, he still has a civil case out there. That is still out there. And the woman has said that she did not take the settlement because he has not been remorseful. Go look it up. That was a quote that came out today. So,
but real quick, I feel like this is exactly how I felt. And I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong, right? I wasn't there. I don't know if he really did this stuff. All I know is he made himself look hella guilty. All right, he made himself look hella guilty. So I'm not telling you you're wrong for feeling this way or anything like that, because who am I to tell you how to feel about anything? But what I will say is, I do believe this is exactly how the NFL feels. If there was no public backlash that happened, I don't know if he would have got suspended at all. I truly don't. No. I really don't. And I think the only reason they're bringing down the hammer, or at least having the intention or trying to build a public perception that they're bringing down the hammer so hard, is this 35 to 40% of your fan base is women. And you making them look crazy. And then another 20 to maybe 35% are sympathetic men. And you making us look crazy.
So I think we've kind of went off on this a little bit, just him in this. We got 3 more videos here. And
I'm sorry, I took over the classroom. My bad.
No, it's fine. So Deshaun Watson comes out. He says this. It is completely contradictory to anything anybody has said. Then the Haslams came out, and the owners, Haslams and Andrew Berry, the GM, also came and talked to the media. And this is, sorry about that. This is what they had to say.
Now, would you go back and do this all over again?
Absolutely.
Hey. So you have no qualms about making someone a questionable character in the face of your franchise?
Now, before we even continue
absolutely.
To do
this, he said absolutely.
Before we continue in any of this, if Deshaun Watson hasn't done anything, some of the answers that come out here kind of make me think that they know Deshaun Watson has possibly admitted to something. Here we go.
Here's what I think is that I think in this country and hopefully in the world, people deserve second chances.
Okay. Deserves a second chance, Justice? Sure.
For what?
I think for what? Yeah, what does he deserve a second chance for? Also, the only people that deserve second chances are the people that admit that they've done something wrong. They admit, they accept it, and they try to get better from it. Then society and its perception can determine whether or not they feel you deserve a second chance. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, I really think that, and I struggle a little bit. Is he never supposed to play again? Is he never supposed to be part of society? Does he get no chance to rehabilitate himself?
Rehabilitate himself? What's he rehabilitating himself from, Justus? He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything, according to him.
The incompetence. Like, why do they keep letting some of these people talk is beyond me. Like, y'all just look so wild.
It's crazy. And anyway, I'd trade for him, absolutely. Trade for him, absolutely. I'd do it all over again, and I'd give him that $1 million first-year thing because I know he's not going to get suspended more than a year. Let's continue.
And that's what we're going to do, okay? And you could say, well, that's because he's a star quarterback. Well, of course, but
he deserves that second chance because he's a star quarterback. Okay, all right, let's continue.
If he was Joe Smith, he wouldn't be on the headlines every day.
So if he wasn't Deshaun Watson, a star quarterback in the league, he wouldn't be in the headlines every single day.
Did he say that out loud in real life?
He did.
This has got to be doctored. No. Oh my
This is Browns owner Jimmy Haslam. Speaking of that, you can even hear Rich Eisen in the background of this clip going, "Oh wow,
oh my God.
Every day." So we think people deserve a second chance. We gave Kareem Hunt a second chance. Okay,
they did. There you go. Gloat about bringing in Kareem Hunt when he had all his issues and brought him out. Hey, look how he turned out. He's a model citizen. We're bringing all the model citizens into our program. Look how it turned out. Okay. All right. Let's continue.
Okay. And that's worked out pretty well. Okay. We're hoping this will work out, and we have strong belief it will. That doesn't mean we don't have empathy for people affected, and we will continue.
Empathy for people affected. If you had empathy for people affected, Mr. Haslam, then why would you go out of your way to make sure that Deshaun Watson would lose no money? I'll tell you why. It's because Deshaun Watson had a plan in place to go to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons were all ready for Deshaun Watson. You can see it when he's holding up a Browns jersey in an Instagram live. In the background, there is a Deshaun Watson Falcons jersey over the chair in the background. Because the Browns at the last minute said, hey, we're going to make this fully guaranteed. We know you got these problems, that's what, but we are so desperate for you, Deshaun. We're going to give you this $1 million salary, give you a signing bonus so you don't lose any money if the NFL suspends you, but you got to come here to Cleveland. We need you. We need you. Just come here, Deshaun. We don't care what you did. But no, we have empathy for all those involved. No, you don't. You don't care. You want to know why? Because this clip also is from this press conference.
Important to remember, Deshaun is 26 years old, okay? And is a high-level NFL quarterback.
Okay, so in this whole situation, it is important to remember that Deshaun Watson is young and he's really good at football. Just remember that.
Exactly what he said. What he said.
He's young and he's really good at football. But we care about those. We care about those people. We have empathy for those people. But remember, Deshaun Watson's young and he's really good at football, Justice. Remember that. When we're talking about this. Woo. Oh, man. All right, let's get the end of that last.
Do so. But we strongly believe people deserve a second chance. We believe Deshaun Watson deserves a second chance.
Okay, they strongly believe that Deshaun Watson deserves a second chance. And don't worry, everybody, we're not going to sit here and just talk about Deshaun Watson for the rest of the show. But I just wanted to show you how this kind of discussing this whole situation that's been playing out. It's just kind of been like everything was kind of spun to go one way, and then Deshaun Watson and the Browns organization open their mouth, and it opens a whole other can of worms to where now I've heard, and this is from guys from Pro Football Talk and everything like that, there would be I surely hope that wouldn't be true. Surely hope that wouldn't be true.
Oh, no, he'd be in prison if he wasn't good at football.
Yeah.
If there was just some random dude going around what he was accused of doing, he'd be in jail. I promise.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have been able to get 60 plus masseuses in that 18 months.
That
span.
too. Facts. Yeah. That right there is wild as hell to me.
It would have been a couple of masseuses of him doing inappropriate things, and he would have been in jail. But
it's like, what is the even justification of that?
Sure.
60?
So
it's crazy.
The Haslams, again, they're adamant. Hey, Deshaun Watson, he's remorseful. They've said that in multiple statements every time we talked about it. He's remorseful of all the things that he's done, right? But then, of course, I don't have to remind you, Deshaun Watson says, I stand by my innocence. I didn't do anything. All right. He deserves a second chance, though. He deserves that second chance because he's young and he's really good at football. Here's the next clip.
We're saying in a statement the other day that Deshaun was remorseful when he continues to say he didn't do anything wrong. And then on top.
Just look at how uncomfortable they all are standing there, by the way. Just look. First of all, his wife doesn't even want to look at anybody, right? She's standing there. She doesn't want to be here. Andrew Berry's just kind of sitting there because they traded for Deshaun Watson because this man right here with his hands on his hips told them that they needed to get Deshaun Watson, right? He's the one who said, do whatever you can, get Deshaun Watson. Andrew Berry had to structure that contract that way because Jimmy Haslam wanted a superstar quarterback. All right, let's continue.
That Robinson said that she found that he had shown no remorse or little remorse in her investigation.
Did you hear that, Justice?
No, or
Judge
little
Sue
remorse.
L. Robinson found that Watson showed little remorse in her investigation. And
she didn't have to look very far. I can tell you he shows little remorse in my investigation. Just by what I've seen in the media.
I can look at this press conference and I can show that he's like, I didn't do anything.
Right,
I still didn't do anything. All right.
Assessment of what happened.
So, Jake, what's the question?
What makes you say that he's remorseful?
Well, I mean, because we're around him every day.
We're around him every day. We are around him every day. That's how we know he's remorseful. Deshaun Watson's remorseful because, hey, I see him eating in the cafeteria. I see him eating those turkey burgers. He looks remorseful to me. Looks more than remorseful to me. Because he just got a fully guaranteed contract. Okay, yeah, he looks remorseful. But he just came out after this and was like, I stand by my innocence. I never did anything to anybody. Okay, all right. Sounds remorseful to me. Clears.
And he said he's remorseful.
He didn't say that until just the day of that Jacksonville.
I think I said it pretty well, is that this counseling is a process, and it's going to take some time for him, the layers and the layers upon getting there, and we feel like he's making progress, and with us, we have seen that.
It's a process, Justice. This rehabilitation, what does he need?
Public relations got to be like crapping in draws right now. This is like, they're like, what?
How do you spin this?
You can't. They're spinning themselves. Like,
oh my God. Lord. You got a quarterback who agreed to a settlement with the NFL on a basis that he's going to go get help because he's remorseful for the things that he possibly did to people, and that possibly did to people, right? Possibly. We got to say that. He was never convicted of anything. Possibly. But they're going to donate all $7 million to the prevention of sexual assault and violence, sexual violence. Sure. All right.
Yeah. His lip service.
Yeah. Yeah. But he didn't do anything. All right. But no, it's a process, Justice. He's got to be rehabilitated. How do you rehabilitate someone who says they haven't done anything?
Right. What's the thing you got to do when you go to AA or saw a scene in all the movies? You gotta say, "Hello, my name is so and so, and I'm an alcohol." Exactly. You have to admit you have a problem before you can go through any healing.
Yeah. So if he doesn't admit it, again, I wonder. Obviously, the guys on Pro Football Talk, they were talking about it, and the NFL. This suspension is based on. What does he do when he goes to get help? What happens? Is he going to go and say that I have a problem, or is he going to go in there and the, league appointed therapist or whoever he's going to go see says, well, he says he didn't do anything. He says he didn't do anything. What happens? Does the suspension get lengthened? Apparently that's still an option. And if you're the NFL, they're getting huge blowback from this. They thought it was going to be over once they got this settlement done. And okay, but then the Browns wouldn't have these press conferences. I'll tell you right now, we're not talking about this right now if they never had this press conference. If they didn't, we'd all just be like, all right, Deshaun Watson got basically 11 games. That's it. But now they went and opened their mouths, and now the NFL looks stupid because they thought, okay, he's remorseful, and we're going to make sure that he goes and gets help. And if he shows that he's getting help, then yeah, we're going to let him play back in this league. But then what happens? Well, he comes out and he says he didn't do anything again, even though he just put out a PR statement that said that, he was remorseful for the things that happened. But in real life, it doesn't really seem like it. This is
listen. I feel like believe what you believe. Okay, I don't feel like I'm here to tell anybody what to believe. Right? Spin, you are well entitled to your opinion. All right. My thing is, it's the inconsistencies. Right? That's a real problem here. Stand on your words, okay? You can't have the problem saying, I didn't do anything wrong, and then everybody on the problem saying, yeah, well, he did something wrong, but he's growing, he's learning, he's going to rehab, he's remorseful, he's sad, he's apologetic. Then the problem is like, I didn't do that, all right? So it looks so disingenuous from the NFL, from the Browns organization, from the Texans organization. You've had multiple teams, Falcons fans, Saints fans, making fun of them like, oh, the Browns, you have this horrible organization. Y'all teams tried to trade for this man too. Okay, let's not act like they're a missing moral factor in a lot of different places right now. And again, like I said, believe what you believe, but be consistent, because once you flip-flop and go back and forth, now you look like you're just giving lip service.
Yeah. And just looking, like I told you, he was this close to going to Atlanta, like that close. You can see, you can still find the videos of, and even the pictures of the Watson Falcons jersey sitting in the background that he was going to hold up on a virtual press conference to be like, yeah, I'm going to Atlanta for this trade. Yeah, no, there's a thing in this league where people will throw their morals aside to win, because that's what this business is. And the Browns are an organization that has been at the bottom of the barrel for so long. So long. They haven't been able to develop a quarterback since Bernie Kosar. Okay? They haven't been able to do anything. And then they get Baker Mayfield, who, again, whatever you feel about Baker, he got him to the playoffs. They won a game against the Steelers. That's the most success that the Cleveland Browns have had since Kosar.
Kosar, yeah.
And what happens? Well, they get rid of him. They ship him out of town.
On that guy.
Yeah, they immediately quit on him because they feel like, well, this guy's available. And look, I don't blame you if you go after a guy like this, right? Like, you have a guy at this talent level, right? You have to be willing to take on. I mean, the Dolphins were going to do it too. Like, we didn't mention them in this.
Yeah,
the
Dolphins. The Dolphins was trying to do a lot of shady stuff this offseason.
Yeah, well, the Dolphins wanted to do it during the season last season. Like, this was.
You're right. It's facts.
There's a bunch.
Hold on, real quick.
Go ahead.
Spin, I get what you're saying. He says, to be fair, if you don't let anyone who have a job because they wronged somebody or committed a crime, half the country will be without a job. Of course, right? And now some laws are maybe a little subjective, where it's, I don't necessarily agree with that. Abortion, you can feel how you want about it. Gay marriage or of drugs, you can feel how you want about it. Blah 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 blah. I don't think you can find a single person in America who's like, it's okay to sexually assault 24 women. You know what I mean? Like, that's different.
Yeah,
this
allegedly.
is totally different. Allegedly. Yeah. So I think I get your point, and I'm not trying to bat on Watson here. I'm really trying to bat on the inconsistencies. Y'all make yourself look so stupid. Like, if you're not guilty, Deshaun Watson, like let's take the slim possibility that Deshaun Watson didn't do anything. You handled this like dog shit. Seriously.
Why'd you settle?
It's bad.
Why'd you settle? Why'd you settle with all the women if you really did nothing? That's the thing. You didn't want to let the court system drag it out because you thought it was really going to hurt you, so it was just better to settle. But there is still one woman who's sitting there because she actually didn't want to take the money because she says Watson doesn't really care about this. He really doesn't. He doesn't care that he did this. He's not showing remorse, so I'm not going to take his money. And who knows how many other women didn't step up. Like they said, he met 60-plus massage therapists in 18 months. Who knows how many women didn't step up because they saw all the people on social media defending Deshaun Watson. Oh, all these women are going after his money. I'm not like some women, you know, that's just No, that's a BS argument on why did you settle, because civil lawsuits isn't necessarily about guilt or innocence. Yeah, it is. It still is. There still is a guilty party and a party that is found to be affected, correct? So if it is affected and these parties talk out of court and come to a settlement, that's not an admission of guilt. No, it is not. But it definitely isn't a good look. It's not. It's, hey, let's make this go away.
I will say one thing that honestly scares the hell out of me, that is truly scary about this situation, is that there is a possibility that, like, Deshaun Watson truly does not know what he did wrong. If let's say he did everything and he truly doesn't believe he did anything wrong, it's a scary thing, because I think that, you know, just from having relationships with women and, you know, having some of my family members, of course, you know, some the people that I love being women, I've heard stories, and a lot of times guys truly do not know what they're doing is predatory, and that's some scary stuff, especially if you're right. So I think it's important that you know, us as men, we take a step back and kind of assess the situation, you know, more thoroughly, and really learn to hold ourselves accountable, you know, for things like this. Because I mean, look, you can sit here and you know, say you're innocent, but if he believes innocent despite all of this, then that is a bigger problem than him sitting here lying about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and that's why he's supposed to be going to therapy.
Right.
He's agreed that he's going to go to therapy and they're going to rehabilitate him. And that's what's so weird about all of this, right? It's just so weird that he's so adamant about his innocence and that he did nothing, but then also agrees in his settlement to go get help. Okay. Why does anybody that wants to, and I know he said he just wants to do it so he can continue with his career, but it's just kind of like, this is something that's going to be with you forever now. You know, when you fight it, you can at least try to clear your name if you truly feel you're innocent. But nah, it's this whole thing. We're going to finish this video right here and then we'll get into other topics, but just it is just, I don't know, man.
Well, let me say one other thing too. He was also involved in civil litigation during that time period too. Okay, and so a lot of what held Deshaun back was he was counseled by his attorneys not to say anything. Okay.
So Deshaun Watson was counseled not to say anything, but he was still professing his innocence. So I don't really understand about that. So what? He just wasn't saying anything about what I'm remorseful for what I did to them, but then literally on the same exact day as this, he's still preaching the same thing. You would think that in his thing, he'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm going to go get help. Match the statement that got put out by your PR person. If that's what you're going to do, if you just want this to go away, match the damn statement you put out on social media. Like, even the PR person has to be like, Deshaun, we know that, you want to keep your innocence, but this is what we agreed to. So even if you feel like you're lying to yourself, you already agreed to this. It's already on you. How's it going to affect you anymore if you just go out there and repeat the same thing you put on social media? It's not that hard. And now the NFL has a little bit more of a shit show. We're going to have to keep hearing about this. And the Browns, they're going to be fourth in the AFC North, easy. And, I literally hope that the Browns and Deshaun, I really don't want to hear about this anymore. I literally don't. I want it to be gone. I still feel like in my head, ever since this really got announced, I've been like, if he did it, he's a piece of shit. If he didn't, then, that's whatever. But right now, when it comes to his settlement, and then he has to think that he gets help, there's a lot more leaning onto the side that, yeah, there was a little bit more evidence there that showed that he was doing inappropriate things, and now he's getting punished for it. Maybe it's not enough. I don't think it's enough, but it is what it is. And hopefully he goes and gets help, but with the way he's acting, I doubt it. He truly probably doesn't think that he has anything wrong or he didn't do anything. And if any of the stories are to be believed of what women were saying that Deshaun Watson was doing to them, it's disgusting. Definitely. I know, like what you said, Justin, you're like, sometimes guys don't know what they're doing is, predatory. And if the things that he was doing them, and he still doesn't feel that he was doing anything predatory, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a real problem.
Scary part. But in closing, I just want to say, fellas, like let's be smart. Be careful in how you approach situations and what you do, behind closed doors, and protect women. Like, just my heart and soul and support goes out to all the victims, anybody who's ever been plagued by something like this in this situation or in any scenario. It really is like sad as hell to think that is as commonplace as it is in our society. So fellas, again, make sure to look after women, support them, be there for them, and when they tell you they've been hurt or harmed, then like believe them, investigate it, go into it, look into it, let's not just keep letting this stuff slide and have women grow up with these awful stories and things like this that they have to live with the rest of their life. Just is really sad. So let's just be more mindful of that as an entire community.
Yeah, don't be a piece of shit and respect women. There you go. And if you do anything disgusting, I literally think less of you as a man. If you do something like that to a woman, you are a human pile of garbage. So, yeah, I'm just ready to get off of this subject. This whole thing is just ever since it happened a year ago. Which, if anybody is actually curious, it has been. I believe me and Justus's first show was about a year ago around this time. So
a little over a year ago.
Yeah. So this shit has been going on for a long time, because I remember some shows where we were talking about Watson. It was just like, Oh my
Is
god!
he
I feel
better
like-
than Josh Allen?
Yeah, like we have been talking about. Oh my god! Yeah, that conversation. We won't talk about that.
Ugh.
But
I bet you people that were saying that are like really feeling stupid now.
I don't.
As they should.
I'll tell you. I know some people that were saying that don't, because they still feel like at that time Josh Allen wasn't as good as Deshaun Watson.
But he wasn't. He was better.
Yeah. But
all right.
But
so
anyway, we got it.
Let's
we got
go
other
ahead
topics.
and I want to ask, right? Because of course the NFL Top 100 has come out, right?
Oh God.
And it's a couple people on there, right? So while I find this list, I want to ask you, Jake Jordan. Jordan, not Adonis, all right?
Please don't ask me about Mac Jones.
I am asking you about Mac Jones.
Oh my, no, I don't want to.
I'm 100% asking you about Mac Jones. Mac Jones is an NFL Top 100 player. Jake Jordan, true or false?
I mean that's an L. That's that Patriots prejudice right there from the NFL. Look, he was good. I think really, I just can't look at him. He's not a top 100 player. I can't even say he's a top 15 quarterback.
Thank you. I'm going to read off a couple people that are ranked lower than him. I don't even know where he's ranked, to be completely honest with you. But I'm going to ask you.
He was 85.
All right.
Yeah.
There's too many. All right. Listen, stop me when I get to a player that Mac Jones is better than. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You said he's number 85, right?
Yeah, I believe he's 85.
Okay. He is 85. All right. Shaquille Barrett, linebacker from the Buccaneers. Is he better than Shaquille Barrett?
It's God, this is so hard. I thought you were just going to name off.
Is it hard?
Yeah, because
what?
No, you have to just talk about, like, all right, is a linebacker more important than a quarterback to a team?
Not more important. Not more important. Is he better?
Just like
is he better
overall?
Is he better at what he does than Mac Jones at what he does?
Yeah, I'd say so. I would say so. He makes a lot more. He makes a lot more impact on the field as a player than Mac Jones probably does. But again, I've had to sit here and be like, Mac Jones was good last year, man. Like, he wasn't amazing, but I don't think Cam Newton in that offense has them in the playoffs. I don't think, like, I still think that Mac Jones at his ceiling is a good quarterback. He's not great.
Ceiling.
Yeah, and he's pretty much close to his ceiling.
Don't you think that says all right? So I don't know. Shaquille Barrett is one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
But like I said,
Mac Jones is not one of the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, like I said, Mac Jones is like 15 on a top 15, or he's like 16. It's not. I don't think that he should be in the top 100 players. I think that there's easily 100 players in the NFL better than Mac Jones.
All right, so then let me make it a little more friendly. All right.
Sure. I mean, you could just go through a list of the starting QBs in the league, and I just be like Mac Jones.
So Kirk Cousins.
No, Kirk Cousins is better than Mac Jones.
And Kirk Cousins is ranked 100.
Yeah, see, that's BS.
And they're the only two quarterbacks on the list so far in the top 51.
Just go through the
starting quarterbacks in the league?
In the NFL.
All right, we'll go starting quarterbacks in the league. We're going to figure out where Mac Jones ranks. Okay?
Sure.
All right. So I'm just going to start here by division, obviously, because that's just the easiest way to go, right? All right. So we're going to start off with the AFC East. Is Mac Jones better than Josh Allen?
No.
Is he better than Zach Wilson?
At this moment, Yes, he's a
At
lot more
this moment,
consistent
yes.
of a he's a lot more consistent of a quarterback than Zach is.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, he's better than Tua.
I hate Tua, and I don't know if that's true.
I'm just gonna say, you put Mac Jones in Miami with those wide receivers. I would trust Mac Jones more with them than I would Tua.
But at the same time, you don't have Bill Belichick.
But Bill Belichick is a defensive guy. Josh McDaniels has always been the offensive guy.
I mean, look, he's a head coach, right?
Oh yeah,
his offenses are, except for that 1 year where Brady, his last year with New England, his offenses are always pretty much serviceable. Even with Cam Newton, who couldn't throw the ball 30 yards downfield, they went like 9-7 or something.
Yeah, but that was with Josh McDaniel. You know, Josh McDaniels. Like Josh McDaniels has been there running that offense forever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Miami don't got Josh McDaniels either. Like, I just don't think that. I don't think. I don't. First of all, I don't think Mac Jones would have had the fortitude. I don't think he would have had the patience. I don't think he would have had the perseverance to play in Miami the way he did in New England.
I'll tell you right now, I bet the Miami Dolphins wish they had Mac Jones over Tua. Like,
I'll give you that.
If you took those wide receivers in Miami and put them up in New England, they're gonna have much more success.
I agree with that, but that's a different story because now we're going to the New England organization. I'm talking about bringing Mac Jones to the Miami organization,
I'm just talking
which
about
I think is the different.
The quarterback in general throwing it to them. I think that Mac Jones would give his receivers more success.
Okay, let me put it this way. I think Tua Tagovailoa is better in New England than Mac Jones is.
Probably just because we know how New England can really cover up the downfalls in somebody's game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think that, I don't know. Like I maybe that one's close, but I would just prefer Mac over Tua, just based off what I've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think I don't know. So I don't know about the Miami Dolphins.
Just at this point, is Tua's a better quarterback than Mac Jones?
I would say so.
I feel like that Mac Jones, even with the team that they had, brought a lesser team to the playoffs. And Tua's had multiple chances to try to bring the Dolphins to the playoffs, and they've choked it every time.
This is true. You absolutely fatten it up. But I do take into consideration that the owner and Brian Flores had that little debacle where they didn't know who to start. I think I think his development was very much stunted. And I feel like Mac Jones was really in a great situation for him. Specifically, I think if Tua is in that situation, we're a lot more afraid of Tua than we are if he was with the Dolphins. But I don't want to, go too much into the Patriots or hover over that too much because we got like 27.
Sure. So yeah, I'm gonna say though that Mac Jones is better than Tua. So
yeah, that's fine. So I'll give you that one. So we got Josh Allen. So Tua is 2-1 right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he better than Deshaun Watson?
No.
Lamar Jackson?
No.
Mitchell Trubisky?
No. Well,
that's tough. Well, Trubisky has a winning NFL record as a starting quarterback. I know Star isn't a QB stat, but I mean.
And he did take the Bears. He took the Bears to the playoffs.
Right?
Like
he can run, very athletic versus Mac, who's not.
Yeah, but it's very hard that one. But I'm yeah, I don't think Mac Jones is better than Mitch Trubisky. I think Mitch Trubisky's upside is a lot higher than Mac Jones.
Joe Burrow.
No, he's not better than Joe Burrow.
He might be better than Joe. I'm joking.
I knew that was coming out. No, I think Joe Burrow, at least up here, is a lot more developed than like just football IQ wise than Mac Jones at this point.
All right. Right now, Mac Jones is 2-5. Davis Mills, excuse me.
Oh, Davis Mills. Davis Mills really did come on at the end of the year in Houston, but I'm still going to say Mac Jones is better than him, at least at this point.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I know I wouldn't like to see Davis Mills in New England, but I would be interested to see if he would have been better than Mac Jones.
Yeah.
All right. Matt Ryan.
Ooh. At this point? No, Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I don't think that's close.
Matt Ryan is still better. Matt Ryan's better.
3-6. Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, this one's tough because Tannehill. No, God, that one's pretty even. That one's pretty even to me. I think Mac Jones could run that play action game and hand it off to Derrick Henry just as well as Ryan Tannehill could.
Yeah, that's fair because Ryan Tannehill had disgusting to work with last year. He had Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, and they didn't do anything. All right, they got the number 1 seed, but still.
I like what Spin says. Tannehill is Mac Jones' ceiling. I would think so. I think Mac Jones though can be a whole lot. Mac Jones can be a whole lot smarter than Tannehill, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think just like football IQ wise,
better decision maker.
Yeah, a better decision maker
for sure. All right, Trevor Lawrence.
No, Trevor Lawrence's upside is crazy. No.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see him in the preseason just now? He was throwing dimes to Zay Jones. Like I was like, okay, Trevor.
Is it fair if we just skip the entire AFC West?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
So
everybody in the AFC West is better than Mac Jones.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like what, 4-7? Right. Daniel Jones.
He's better than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is buns. Like,
all right. I personally believe in Daniel Jones, but I'm not mad at that decision.
I love Spin. It's fair to just skip the entire NFL. I love it.
All right. Carson Wentz.
Oh, God. Carson Wentz just shits the bed so many times. Like, he's good, but when he's off, dude, he's
so
off.
bad. Yeah, he is.
Like the Jacksonville game at the end of the year, they just had to win that game and they were in. Oh, man.
I will say, Mac Jones took the Patriots.
Yeah.
He took the Patriots to the playoffs. However, one of their W's was in a game where he threw 3 passes. And if that game was regular temperature, as we saw in the next 2 games, the Bills smacked them and they don't go to the playoffs. Wentz is great until he has to take his spin. I miss Spin.
Man. No, it's is he better than Carson Wentz? Man, Carson Wentz has a lot more skills than Mac Jones has, like just kind of like athletic ability. So yeah, I'd still say that Carson Wentz is slightly better because I don't know if you put Mac Jones in the situations that Carson Wentz has been in, that he's going to be able to perform at the level that Wentz did at some of his high points.
Fair enough. Dak Prescott. Dakota Prescottuous.
No, he's not better than Dak. Dak pisses me off. Like, he's supposed to be great, right? And like, Trust me, I love having him in fantasy sometimes as my QB2 if I'm able to get him.
God, he puts up points.
Dude, his garbage time points that he puts up are just ridiculous. But he never does it at the greatest times. But no, Dak Prescott should be better than Mac Jones. Every metric shows that he's better than Mac Jones. So, yeah, he's better than Mac Jones.
Jalen Hurts.
Mac Jones is a more well-rounded passer than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts on the ground is dangerous. And yeah, and who knows what Jalen does this year? I mean, with a true number one in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Oh my god.
And a crazy defense. My lord, with the defense.
That defense is gonna be nuts. I'm gonna say that Mac Jones is not a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, which might be a hot take. Some people might think that's a hot take. Because Jalen Hurts hasn't really done much either, you know? Like,
That's fair.
So.
All right, so what was he, 4-7? He just went through the NFC East and was 1-3. So now he's 5-10. All right. Da Bears, Justin Fields.
No, he's not. Oh, wait.
No. Justin Fields' upside is up there with who are we talking about?
I choose Nathan Pete. Is he better than Nathan Pete?
Trevor Lawrence. I think Justin Fields' upside is up there with Trevor Lawrence.
No, it is. I think that, you know, Mac Jones, I've always said it. Mac Jones, he was picked by the Patriots because he was closer to his ceiling than any of the other prospects at that point. And they were like, we can win with this guy now. He's not going to, like, his ceiling isn't crazy. But we've also seen that, you know, Tom Brady's ceiling wasn't crazy. He was just super smart and was able to dissect defenses. Like, if you can, I'm not saying that he's Tom Brady, but I'm just saying that, like, you don't need to be the most athletic guy to win in New England.
For sure.
So I think that the upside of Justin Fields is much better if they gave him weapons, but it should be a crime what the Chicago Bears are giving the team that they've put around Justin Fields for this year. Like, they should be charged with a felony. It's disgusting. But at this point right now, Mac Jones is a better quarterback.
Let me ask
He's
you
had
this,
more.
Jake.
Let
me ask you a question.
What's up?
If you heard today that the New England Patriots traded Mac Jones and a third-round pick to the Chicago Bears for Justin Fields, how do you feel?
I'd kill myself.
So, what are we talking about?
Okay, all right. You got me.
Bro, I would legit scream. So
I would be so pissed off because they could have got Justin Fields. They could have if they wanted to move up.
They would have to trade up. I was so happy when it took because he about to fall in their laps. Oh my god.
That's what everybody was saying. They're like, oh man, Justin Fields is going to fall right in the laps. Yep. And then what happened? It was like the Bears got on like, oh, thank you. And then they got Mac Jones. We were doing that live. Yeah, we were. And it was kind of like, oh, thank the Lord that Mac Jones went to the Patriots. But then Mac actually had a pretty decent season. I was like, oh, okay.
And that was what I was worried about. I always say I'm glad Bill Belichick is as old as he is because he's not going to have a chance to turn Mac Jones into Tom Brady.
Dude, he is a terrible GM, by the way. Like, I still don't know. They don't have that guy Ernie Adams anymore, who was kind of the brains behind everything in New England. He was kind of like a pseudo GM for them and kind of the moves that they needed to make and who they needed to draft. Last year was his last year, and then he retired. So, and
I'd have had that boy on the call every week.
My God, dude. Like, I mean, you could just see it in the draft this year with the Patriots they take Cole Strange and then Tyquan Thornton. You're like, what? These are reaches, dude. So
Yeah, for sure.
Bill Belichick,
All right.
terrible GM.
All right. Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's better than Jared Goff.
Do you think if the Patriots had Jared Goff, they'd be a better team?
No.
Fair enough. We already talked about Kirk Cousins. We know he's not better than Kirk Cousins. Do you think he might be better than Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know. Let me think about that one.
Let me think about it, right? All right, Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Are we saying that Sam Darnold is the starter for the Panthers?
Well, I'm about to ask you all three quarterbacks. If Baker,
oh,
Sam
okay.
Darnold,
All
and
right.
PJ
Yeah,
Walker.
sure. No, yeah, he's better than Sam Darnold.
Baker.
He's better than Baker Mayfield.
Wow. I did not expect those answers.
Dude, Baker's painfully average, and Mac Jones
Mac is painfully average.
I mean, they're all average. I mean, you're asking me what pile of shit would I prefer to eat? You know, like it's like cow shit.
Which dog water
shit.
you want to drink?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that 5-10, and he went 1-3 in the NFC North. So we're at
anyway,
6-13.
the whole point of this is that Mac Jones is not a top 15 quarterback in the league.
Well, oh wait, no, he's not better than anybody in the NFC West except Geno.
Yeah,
well, is he better than Trey Lance?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen Trey Lance play at all. Basically, I mean, he played a little bit, but like not enough to spin to change his save.
It's hilarious.
I eat pieces
better
of
than
shit like
Jameis.
you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
What's the
No.
basics? Well, is he better than Marcus Mariota? Or not Marcus Mariota? Jameis Winston.
Oh, when LASIK Jameis was playing, oh man, that one's hard. Because they're two completely different quarterbacks. I'd take Jameis though over Mac.
So we got 10 and 18.
But yeah, the whole point of anybody who's still watching this is that we're talking about the top 100, right? And
So
Mac
he
Jones
just cracks the top
85.
20.
Yeah. And he's like not even one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So how is he a top 100 player in the league?
Makes no
Like,
sense.
I don't understand it.
None at all. All right. Oh dang! Because of all that, I don't even remember. We were talking about the top 100, right?
Yeah, we were talking about the top 100. Mac Jones was in there. You also wanted to talk about. We still got to talk about the preseason game tomorrow, and
Yep.
we also you wanted to talk about Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's not that good, guys. Like he's not. And
So what
get it.
caused you to have this epiphany that you think that Joe Burrow is not?
Somebody posted this picture and they were like, who's a quarterback where it's this much hype and this much production, right? And I'm not going to say that Joe Burrow necessarily has had this much production he made to a Super Bowl. However, I will say that he is not a top 5 quarterback. Are you kidding me, guys? Like, come on. Let's not do this. He got dragged to the Super Bowl by his defense. Jamar Chase is the only reason that he's even considered to be a top 10 quarterback because he has one of maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. Like Jamar Chase is him. He's that guy.
Yeah.
He's a baller. So when I look at that, I say that I just don't think Joe Young is that good. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong, but when you start saying that he's top 5,
So they had him in the top 5.
Now I gotta, or Chris.
All right, let's talk about Josh.
About.
We got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers. There's 5 right there. He's not better than those 5 guys.
So you put him above Justin Herbert and Tom Brady.
That makes sense.
I'm not putting Justin Herbert in my top 5 yet, only because he hasn't really done
Herbert
anything.
On his talent alone, Cincinnati would love to have, like, he brings so much more dynamic ability to offenses just on what he can do. His ball placement too. If you haven't been watching anything out of the joint practices that they've been doing with the Cowboys, like, he's had a couple interceptions. I mean, it's practice, of course. Like, I mean, Josh Allen has interceptions too. Everybody seems to make such a big deal out of interceptions in the preseason and workouts.
Do you have interceptions anywhere? I want him to be in the preseason.
But I literally watched him put a ball, which probably, if Trayvon Diggs was actually a good cornerback, he could have just turned his head and it would have been a pick 6. But Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, or it might have been Keenan Allen, literally turns and Justin Herbert puts it on a line and it just skirts right over the top of the shoulder pad of Trayvon Diggs, right into Mike Williams' hands. Just boop, right there. I'm like, that placement is nasty. Like, I'm just telling you, I think that Justin Herbert this year, that Chargers team, they were kind of blowing it the last couple of years where they've just been that team that could never finish it. I think they finally have the defense, and he's going to mature and take this 3rd-year step that is going to be absolutely disgusting. Like, he's going to be a good player this year.
I'm not mad at that. I can see it. I just don't think. And also, putting
Joe Burrow over Tom Brady is stupid.
That's stupid. Yeah,
like,
and that's what I was getting at, because Joe Burrow's not mobile. He doesn't have anything worse over Tom Brady at all. Maybe arm strength, because Tom Brady's 45 years old.
Yeah,
but my thing about Justin Herbert is, again, I just need to see him do more. Everybody and their mama was talking about how Josh Allen needs to go to the postseason. He needs to do this. He needs to do that.
Right.
And he had to grit and grime and outperform the consensus best player in the world just to be noticed, to be in the top 3. Although I've been saying he had the top 10, the talent to be a top 5 quarterback for 3 years now. But when you look at Justin Herbert, it's kind of like he's been, anointed very early. And I was like, I got to see it first.
People want to anoint Justin Herbert because they saw, first of all, Justin Herbert kind of already came into the league not being kind of as, behind as Josh Allen was in development when he came in. He was definitely more ahead of when Josh Allen came in the league. But now they kind of see what Josh Allen is, and when they look at Justin Herbert looks, smells, throws, has the power of someone who can literally just be like a Josh Allen. Like,
I think Josh Allen is what people think Justin Herbert is.
I mean, Herbert had 40 touchdowns last year. Allen had 42. I mean, he's still, I think that he's primed to this year. If the Chiefs falter, I still think the Chargers are probably the front runner to take that division. I think that the Broncos are going to have a little bit of an adjustment period to do. New head coach, like, new quarterback. Like, they're not going to come out all guns blazing. The Raiders, new coach. Like, we'll see how that goes out. I think the Chargers, they've kind of been sniffing it. Where, like, the Patriots were still that team on top and the Bills kept sniffing it every year, and we just kept kind of, like, over those 2 years, the Patriots were still on top, and we're like, hey, we're building, we're going to get it. I think this is the year that if the Chiefs take any step back, I think this is the year where finally the Chargers go, hey, we've built long enough. We're on the scene. We're taking this division next year.
This would be their opportunity.
Yeah.
However, real quick, I know we just got off of it, but I just want to ask you a little bit about this, right? So I've been looking at this NFL top top 49,
Okay.
or top 50, and so just a few quarterbacks that are ranked ahead of Mac Jones, and I want to see who. I want us to go through who might be some of the quarterbacks that are in the top 50, or who might potentially be left off based on this list, right? So obviously, like you said, we got Mac Jones at 85. And then the next quarterback on the list is, I believe it was, hold on, give me a second. There it is. Derek Carr at 65. So 20 spots.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
However, he is the next best quarterback according to this list. And then we got Russell Wilson at 61.
Okay.
I get he had a bad season, but 61 seems good. All right. We'll see. All right. And then after Russell Wilson, we have, I just had it, Kyler Murray at 57. And that is it for the quarterbacks in the top 50.
Kyler Murray over Russell Wilson?
That's crazy.
No way. No way. I wouldn't do that.
Me neither.
I think
So
I'd much rather have Russell Wilson on my team than I would Kyler Murray.
You look at Derek Carr, you got Kyler Murray, you got Russell Wilson, you got Mac Jones. I feel like they're putting Mac Jones in top 10 because Dak is not going to be on this list, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either, because just thinking of all the quarterbacks that are still left that would have to be up there, like your Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen.
Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Allen, Herbert,
they're gonna
Burrow.
You know Burrow's gonna be.
They're definitely gonna ride that. Yeah.
I mean, they were in the Super Bowl this year. It's a popularity.
Right. Stafford.
So, yeah.
Stafford's gonna be in there. Lamar is gonna be in there. Should be in there.
He better be.
Yeah, seriously. If you're telling me Mac Jones is better than Lamar, I'm never watching your publication again.
Yeah, if Lamar isn't in that top 50, oh my God. He has to be. People love Lamar, and the players love Lamar. So everybody always comes to bat for Lamar Jackson. So, and since it's the players that vote on it, he's definitely got to be out there.
Yeah. I think that's it. So they're going to probably be leaving some people off of this list. So that should be interesting.
So you're telling me Tua's not going to be in the top 50?
Bro, they have two. No,
Dude, I can't believe they let Tua off.
All right. Is there Spin? You were doing so good. All right, let's not even go here right now because that's a crazy
Lamar
statement right there.
10. I mean, let's think about it.
Right? To agree?
No, I mean, I just want us to list it out. I like listing things out. So it's like, all right, let's Baker Mayfield. No, Baker will not be in the top 50. Let's see. So we already have the 5. So
Josh, Aaron,
yeah,
Pat, Tom.
Who are we forgetting?
I don't agree, but you could say Herbert. And that's as far as I'm going without saying that these quarterbacks are better than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, because if you're going to start because then when you got to start thinking about it, if you're going to throw Kyler Murray in there, you got to put, you got to put Lamar in there before Kyler, I believe. Like, you got to.
He is literally the greatest, the best running quarterback we have ever seen
since Vic,
in the history of the world, right? So if you're telling me that this guy who does this one specific thing at the highest level we've ever seen it, and then he can also throw as well, versus some other guys who can, they can throw it well, they're maybe a little athletic. He's the most athletic, like that. I I don't know why the Lamar disrespect is so prevalent, but then you got people anointing Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
Okay, Spin
this.
gave us his list. Let's see. Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Herbert, Burrow, Stafford, Carr, Wilson, Murray. Okay.
The top 5, like I said, and those bottom 5, I'm not putting above Lamar. You want to, people want to dock Lamar for his playoff performance, right? That's what they say. He's not a top 5 quarterback. It's because of his playoff performances, because we know he watches everybody in the regular season. But you want to anoint Justin Herbert, who hasn't seen the postseason?
What has Derek Carr done in the postseason that's better than Lamar?
What has he done in a regular season that's better than Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, actually,
Russell Wilson is not had a great last 2 seasons, or 1.5 rather. And Murray, he has a great season until Call of Duty comes out, and then he sucks. So,
yeah,
no. If you're gonna dock Lamar for his playoff ineptitude, then I don't want to hear anything about somebody like Herbert, who's never been to the playoffs, and Joe Burrow, who, I mean, let's be honest, his defense carried him through the playoffs. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it's
Miller was at number 93, I believe.
That's stupid. Like, yeah, I probably Carr.
I think when players do this, they just say like they're friends, or maybe their favorite. Yeah, it's 93. Their favorite players in the league. I don't think this is objective.
Yeah.
But all right. Was there anything else you wanted to get to tonight, Jake?
Do you want to talk about the game tomorrow?
We are supposed to talk about the game tomorrow
because we've got the starters are playing a healthy amount. What the hell does that mean?
Please, God, no. I hope a healthy amount is like 3 plays.
Yeah, please.
I've never wanted to see Josh Allen have a 3-and-out so bad in my life.
Who do we play this week? We play the Broncos.
I was trying to get to it.
I think we play the Broncos. I'm just going to see Buffalo Bills. I'll pull it up. We play the Broncos tomorrow at 1. All right.
The Bills.
So yeah, I agree with Coach Boom. What's up, Coach Boom?
Coach
see you
Boom.
in here, always supporting. Put Josh in bubble wrap. I don't want to see Josh Allen at all. Like, I mean, I'm just trying to think back to past preseasons to where we didn't really see Josh Allen till the last game. Really? Like, now, okay.
When he was certified.
Yeah, so now we're going to play Josh Allen and the starters a healthy amount tomorrow. What is a healthy amount? I hope it's 1 series each. 1 series of starters on offense, 1 series of starters on defense. I don't need us looking like the Colts did last week, where they literally had their starters in like the whole first half almost. Like,
that was crazy.
Yeah, like I wouldn't do that. I don't want to,
and that also
anybody getting hurt.
That also makes me question everything I said about them being a Super Bowl contender this year. I don't know about that.
Oh, the Colts?
They couldn't get it up versus our second defense. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Let's see. Starters don't play last preseason game. Then it's the third game that they usually play, right?
Because it is the third game where the third game is a simulation. The fourth game is where they want to like shore up the end of the roster. But since there's only 3 now, second game is supposed to be the dress rehearsal.
Okay, yeah,
the third
okay.
game is,
I still don't want to see him for more than a couple of
I don't want to see him at all. So I hope to God he's only 1 series.
Well, like, it's the Broncos too, dude. Do you think we see Russell Wilson?
And it's a different situation for Russ, only because this is a new team for him. New team, new head coach.
I'm just saying because
but that's what I'm saying. That's why it would be understandable for us to see Russell Wilson in this game because it's a new season, it's a new head coach, it's a new team, and everything else. Josh Allen has worked with this team now for the last 4 years, right? He's worked with this Ken Dorsey for the last 4 years. I mean, even though Ken Dorsey is now the one calling plays, he was still his passing game coordinator. You know what I mean? So this isn't new. Okay, so apparently Denver is not playing their starter, so we will not see Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I just looked to see if Wilson was going to be playing, and he's not. That's a bummer. I was really looking to see what Kyer Elam and Benford were going to do against those starters, but
you think we might see Dane Jackson?
I was pissed we didn't see Dane Jackson last week.
I don't know why he said he's not that solidified.
He's like, when I didn't see Dane Jackson out there, I was like, oh, like that's usually something like I would expect not to see, Trey White out there, but Dane Jackson, I still feel like Dane Jackson needs to earn that role.
He got something to prove still.
I'm not a coach. I'm not watching him in practice every day, so I don't know. I'm just some jackass on the internet. But like, do you think that means that Dane Jackson maybe is a little bit better than what people think he is because he wasn't playing? Maybe, or maybe they've just kind of given him, since he's the elder statesman, and they maybe wanted to see a little bit more of Benford and Kyer, that they were just kind of like, well, we've had Dane on the roster for a couple of years, so we don't really need to see him play. Let's go see what these young guys do out there. I could see it being more of that than it is, oh, Dane Jackson has this spot locked up, we're not going to play him no matter what. Like, I think it's like they really just wanted to see more of what they had, and they kind of already know what they have in Dane Jackson, more than it was, no, Dane Jackson has earned to not play in this game. I think that's what it more or less was.
So let's talk about tomorrow's game.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? What do you are? Okay, let me start over. What is Jake Jordan going to be looking forward to most when he turns on this preseason matchup tomorrow?
I just want a nice Gabe Davis slant touchdown. That's what I'm looking for. I just want it right over the middle of the field. I honestly would also like to see possibly, because I want to see who's going to be put out there as the starting slot. We saw Jamison Crowder last week. I wonder if it's going to, or no, we didn't see Jamison Crowder.
No, we did, but he dropped the pass that resulted in an interception.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So now it's like, now we're going to see Isaiah McKenzie, right? Like, that's going to tell me, okay, Isaiah McKenzie's the guy that they have kind of locked, right? Yeah, I know that Dane is currently ahead of Elam on the depth chart.
No, Spin, we understand that Dane is going to be the CB1 come season start until Tre'Davious White gets back. What we're saying is that Dane Jackson hasn't solidified himself as a top 10 like cornerback in the league. So like,
to where
he needs reps as well.
To play. Yeah, like
he needs
to
reps.
Play in the. Yeah, I like Jason. I want to see our starting O-line protect Josh. Yeah, and I want to see Von Miller just get after it. I want to see what Von Miller looks like in a Bills uniform. I want to see just one series of him, and I want to see
highlight clips.
I literally said that yesterday in the Madden cast that literally their nickname for both of them needs to be gunpowder and gasoline for him and Greg Rousseau. That needs to be like their like team name for both of them, just getting back there to people. Like I love that. So it's definitely more important for the rookies to get the reps. Dane will play tomorrow, I'm sure. But again, I only want to see it for a couple of series, man. Like, I don't need to, maybe even just one. I'm cool with just one. Like, I don't need to see this team. I kind of know what this team is going to be. The fact that we have pretty much the luxury of sitting here and just watching our secondary guys play and them kind of fighting for positions. And we have so many guys that can sit because they've solidified their spot on the team. It's nice. It's kind of nice to sit back and watch the preseason now, because now I'm just looking to see who's will Vaughn even play tomorrow? In my opinion, they said the starters will play a healthy amount, so I have to assume that Vaughn is going to get some reps on that starting defensive line. Because if Josh is playing, I think that Vaughn is playing. You'd have to think, right?
Yeah. I mean, if Josh is playing, I don't think anybody else is saying like there's nobody who you would want to protect more than Josh Allen at this point. So I think that's pretty fair to say.
Paul, it is definitely going to be Dane and Elam. It's definitely Dane and Elam if that's the option they're going with, just because we've heard out of camp Benford has looked good. Benford has looked good but even Steve Tasker said it before that, yeah, Elam and Benford have both looked good, but Elam has looked better. So I think it's going to be, yeah. So, and they spent the first round pick on him. I know, obviously,
I'm about to say, like,
Benford's better.
So much more value. Yeah.
But it's kind of like Benford has kind of come on the scene because nobody outside of Justus was expecting him to come in and make as much of an impact right away. Like, I think he's vying for a roster spot where he's kicking Cam Lewis off the team, you know? So, like, he's taking that roster spot. He's not taking Kyer Elam's roster spot. Like,
yeah.
That's at least what I think. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be, I would say, Dane and Elam starting. Just because they trust Dane because he's been around for a while. And then Kyer Elam, they're just going to play him. And then, of course, you still got Taron Johnson out there. And then Benford, you know, is going to be the guy that, you know, sits back and he's waiting to see, okay, you know, if Dane has to go out and Dane gets put in, then you're going to see Elam or vice versa. They're going to switch those guys out. But starting on the starting depth chart at the beginning of the year, I believe it's going to be Dane and Kyer Elam on the outside.
And that's what I'm going to be looking for in tomorrow's game. I'm going to be looking to see more from Kyer Elam, Dane Jackson. I'm going to be looking to see something from Khalil Shakir, from Terrell Bernard, Christian Benford, Jaquan Johnson is really showing some stuff. I want to see a little bit more from him. Damar Hamlin. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this defensive line can do. I want to see some pressure. I want to see some pressure.
We got it, right? Like,
yeah.
I got to see what Daquan Jones looks like, man. I want to see what that run stuffing looks like there with him. And like we've heard out of camp that, you know, let's see, McDermott said most starters will play. Don't know if that counts injured players not playing. Some healthy starters not playing either. Yeah, not sure. They've said that Von Miller and Ed Oliver on the same defensive line is like a cheat code in these practices.
Should be.
I want to see it if if we're playing our starters and the Broncos aren't playing any of their starters because they don't feel like they have to. That second team offensive line for the Broncos is about to run into a buzzsaw. Yeah. Like, if we're playing our starters, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah. And I also want to see Isaiah McKenzie. I feel like his presence is just so much bigger this offseason. Like, you know, people are saying, Isaiah McKenzie is out there killing it. He has a prominent role in the offense. He is a lot more vocal. You see his face a lot more. He's out here interviewing people. Like,
about damn time.
I want to see him. Yeah, I will. And I remember there was this cool highlight where Josh Allen's first ever preseason completion was to Isaiah McKenzie. So for them to still be together here, you know, 5 years later, and now as one of the best teams in the NFL versus one of the worst teams in the NFL that year is really cool. So I want to see, you know, what my Isaiah McKenzie. Oh my God! I want to see what we can expect from Isaiah McKenzie this season.
So Crowder redemption game, maybe.
I'm kind of over Crowder. I just want to see Khalil Shakir.
I feel like Crowder's a guy that could get moved instead of cut. You know, I feel like there's some teams out there that if Crowder if they think that they don't need Crowder, even though I feel like they kind of would like to just keep him around to have a veteran guy who's still savvy in route running. And, you know, I still think that they could keep him around, but they could also, it's a pretty friendly contract. They could move that around to other teams. Like, I know that the damn Cowboys are still looking for some receivers, even though Jerry Jones is like, I love the young guys out here. Maybe Crowder on a nice friendly deal might make sense to trade to the Cowboys, you know? So
Yeah, I'm definitely cool with that. Just I don't know. It's just I'm not excited by him anymore. I'm excited by guys that are lower on the depth chart than him. Isaiah Hodgins is. I'm really excited about him. I'm really excited about, like I said, Khalil Shakir. So I just want to see those guys get some reps, and it's just underwhelming when I
But
see Jameson Crowder has the football.
if it came to game day, like in an actual NFL setting, you probably don't want Isaiah Hodgins out there over a Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder has so
No,
much
not
experience.
necessarily, but that's what I'm saying. I would rather have Khalil Shakir out there than Jameson Crowder.
Sure, yeah. Like if Khalil Shakir, I feel like Khalil Shakir could be that guy that, if they want to keep Crowder around, Khalil Shakir is the guy that takes that Isaiah Hodgins practice squad, gets protected every single week type of role.
I think Khalil Shakir is this year's Gabriel Davis.
You think so?
His Gabriel Davis's rookie season, where he was kind of coming in and making plays.
I was going to say, so like somebody gets hurt, and he maybe has to step into that role, and then gets like he could.
Isaiah McKenzie may not be performing up to sniff or whatever the case may be. I think Khalil Shakir can come in and take over some roles and make some plays, and put a name out there for himself. And I think he'll end up being the top 3 receiver on his team in the next 2-3 years.
Dude,
Same way
the way that Shakir runs routes, bro, like he's got it. Like if you've looked at the film, like there's not a big adjustment that he really needs. Like he gets
and his hands. He got hands.
Oh, he has. If you've seen that man catch the ball, it is like butter. Like it's just he knows, and it makes me go, well, that's Josh Allen sometimes throwing the ball in those clips too, and he's catching it like that. He's just got he has like magnets in his gloves or some shit. Like he makes it look so easy, and I'm just like, he's doing that with Josh Allen throwing piss missiles at him.
Yeah, like, literally.
Oh man, I love that Shakir has that, but I'm wondering now. I still feel like the Shakir could be that guy where they're like, we understand we have him, but we value the veteran more than we do the young guy because we know that that's how Sean McDermott likes to run his stuff.
He's not going to make it to the practice squad. He's going to get clipped.
I'm saying if he gets on the practice squad, he's the practice squad guy that gets protected every single week.
Oh, got you. Yeah,
he's the practice squad protection guy, like every single week. And like as soon as somebody gets hurt, boom, he's the first one off that's getting called up, and then like it's meaningful. Like I feel like they could do that.
All right, so let's quantify that then. Before we get up out of here, my man Jason Taylor says, what are your 6 or 7 wide receivers that you would keep as of right now? And I said last week with the kickoff returns, we saw Khalil Shakir, we saw James Cook, and we saw
Duke Johnson.
I said this is big, and the only reason I said this is big is because this basically tells us Tavon Austin is not making the team. But go ahead with your receiver.
Dude, Duke Johnson looked. I mean, let's just put he was the best returner out of all of them in that game. I was like, okay, Duke Johnson might just make the roster to be a return man. Like we thought that was going to be Tavon Austin possibly. No, that might be Duke Johnson. So, my 6th receiver. I don't think the Bills will keep 7. I think they'll probably keep 6, like they normally do. So I got to say it's obviously Diggs, Davis, McKenzie, and then your 3 backups. You got to assume are. I think it's Crowder. Who else? I should have the depth chart like up because that's what a professional would have. But okay. So who else? You know what? I'm gonna pull that up real quick just so that I can do.
You got Kumaro, Hodgins.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Now I'm actually looking at it. Oh, geez. Jamison. Actually, I think might be taking back my Khalil Shakir practice squad thing. Just looking at all these other names on here, it's probably going to be Diggs, McKenzie, Davis, Crowder, Shakir, Kumaro, because Jamison Crowder can also work on the outside. So I feel like they could do that, and who knows, Khalil Shakir could probably work on the outside too. So I think those are probably the 6 they keep. Oh, lock: Diggs, Davis, Crowder, McKenzie, Shakir. Number 6, Kumaro. Yeah, I think it's probably Kumaro because they really like what he does on.
Who's Steven?
They like what Stevenson, Marquez Stevenson, but
Stevenson. Okay. Tommy, or sorry, not Tommy,
Yeah.
Mikey. He says,
Mikey.
you know, Shakir will not be upright. He will not clear waivers. That's what I said. Yeah, definitely. Would.
Yeah.
So
definitely not. So but Kumaro, I think, probably takes that 6th spot because of his practice squad ability. But if Crowder's not a lock, Mikey, who's the guys? Hodgins taking that spot? I don't think so. Like he had a couple of great plays.
I feel like you said, I feel like he would be good value for a trade. You know, get like a 5th rounder.
Crowder, I think Crowder could be a good, trade option if they don't want to keep him and maybe they want to keep Hodgins. But I feel like, again, if you look at that room, they might value him. We've had this conversation before, dude. I'm telling you, OBJ will be on the Buffalo Bills, but it's going to be mid-season.
That's fine. I mean, we'll see what happens.
So that's what they'll do, right? They'll keep 6. It'll be Diggs, Davis, Crowder, McKenzie, Shakir, Kumaro, and then when we need to get OBJ, Kumaro goes to the practice squad because he'll clear waivers. So there you go.
We'll
there you
see.
go. God,
but all right, that is So
6,
basically,
just Diggs, Davis, OBJ, Crowder, McKenzie, Shakir. Oh my God!
Oh damn! This whole time we were forgetting about McKenzie. Oh no, you said McKenzie. Never said McKenzie. All right. Well, dang, almost 2 hours. That's it for us, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the 1-year anniversary show of First Round Bye.
I'd crack a cold
shout out
one,
to
but
you guys.
I don't have one.
Yeah, me neither. Shout out to you guys for supporting us and rocking with us this long. From our journey from other platforms to coming over here to Bills Mafia and everything in between. That was crazy. There was like a 2-week period where we didn't know what was going to happen. It's been crazy, man.
We were on Breakdown Buffalo for like 2 weeks, and then
seriously, we're going to start our own thing, and thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and you guys have stuck it out with us. We got new supporters along the way. We got some old supporters coming and join back in. We got some new teammates like my man Mikey in the building. So shout out to all of you guys. You guys are awesome. So now we are not going to 3 a.m. tonight, Spence. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Spin. I'm tired.
Tired. I'm about to go eat. But yes, thank you guys for all the support. Again, we appreciate it. Thank you for every like, comment, subscription, retweet, repost, share. Super chat. We don't got super chats yet, but we will, and we will appreciate them because y'all are generous. So please continue to be generous by slapping that like button and subscribing. And following.
This
myself
is not
and
a
Jake
question. This is a threat. Slap that like button, or we will find you.
I will find you.
I will find you.
A certain set of skills.
I will make you press that like button.
Yeah, exactly. We'll open your laptop and press the subscribe. So, thank you guys. We will see you guys later. This is the official network of the original Bills Mafia. I'm Justus, Jake. We out. Go Bills.
Go Bills.